Well, we were all asked to make something with rice today, so let's get started with what I made. I made a rice bread out of the Anson Mills Laurel aged rice. And basically I just used the cornbread recipe that we all kind of use around property, except I used rice flour, which I ground right before I made it. All right, let's dig in.
That is delicious. That is like the best alternative cornbread
exactly.
I've ever had.
It's super good and it's fun because everyone has that old bag of rice in their pantry from 1984.
I know I do, the year that I was born.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
And it's really great because you can just take that rice, grind it up, and then make some bread one night if you need a little something else for dinner.
Yeah. All right, so the dish that I made, really utilizing the rice, was what do you do, the age-old question of what you do with all the leftover rice because you never cook the right amount of rice. I always cook too much at home. So one thing that I thought was not very complicated to do, but was to simply use the rice to cook in a little non-stick skillet and make a little crispy rice on top and fluffy rice in the middle to make a little simple rice cake with everything. And then to accompany everything, it goes great with whatever you're having the next day. Fish, chicken, vegetables, it's a great way to use it.
I think it's delicious and fun. I always have leftover rice in my refrigerator because I am one of those people that uses a rice cooker because I'm not really good at making rice in a pot. So I have a rice cooker and then I just put the pot in the fridge and then fried rice for breakfast and what have you. But this is another fun addition.
Yeah, this is delicious.
What kind of rice did you use, Josh?
I just used the Carolina Gold rice. I mean, it seems to be what we have all over property. Something like jasmine or basmati works great for it too, something that's got nice starch level to it and will kind of stick together without being gummy.
Yeah. Have you ever tried the Persian rice where they mix the egg yolk with the rice and then it gets really crispy?
It's nice and crunchy, but fluffy. It's wonderful. All right, so I made a salad that's on our menu at points throughout the year that is baby romaine, and basically we make a really creamy dressing that's flavored with fermented chilies and some thyme, Merlot vinegar. And then this is our take on a wedge salad. So it has some smoky bacon from property, some spicy radishes, and pickled celery. So it's got the smoky, the pickled, the little bit of spice from the dressing, and then the crunch is from puffed Carolina Gold rice.
This is crushable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could house this in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do that. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I love puffed rice. It's delicious. Did you ever make like the little puffed rice balls when you were growing up, or was that just my family? We made puffed rice balls or like popcorn balls. We always had puffed rice. And
what?
So, yeah.
Okay, is this like a northern thing?
It could be like a Yankee thing.
It's not for me.
I've never heard of this. Please go on.
Yeah, well, it puffed rice.
Do you mix it with like marshmallows, like you're making a Rice Krispie, or like?
No, I think we used like honey and peanut butter, and you like boil it, and then you mixed it with puffed rice, or you could have it savory, like this salad. And so, like, also we took some of the green onion tops. Typically you just kind of throw them away. We saved them, dehydrated them for a day, and then you put them in the VitaPrep, turn it on, turn it to dust, and then that makes a really good, flavorful seasoning. And so that's what it's tossed in. That's why it's green.
I'm impressed because my mom got boil in the bag rice, and then also that gold like pouch. You know the one I'm talking about? And then the rice was yellow and just full of MSG and delicious salt.
The delicious kind.
But your mom was like spraying patchouli everywhere and mixing the puffed rice with honey. That's cool.
It was all very organic.
Yeah. Josh, aren't you a big fan of like popcorn rice?
I am. That was as a sportsman and kind of traveling around Arkansas and stuff, duck hunting, that was one of the first time that I was ever introduced to something other than the white rice from the grocery store, was popcorn rice down in the Delta region in Arkansas down there. And it was really memorable for me as something that, to have this really flavorful rice with butter and salt, and that was.
Does it taste
great.
like popcorn?
It does. I mean, it's very similar to the Carolina Gold rice. It has that same kind of aroma to it, but to me, it's one of those sensory things where I smell it. I even smell the Carolina Gold rice when it's cooking, and it kind of takes me back to that moment where,
Yeah,
the first time that I
it does kind of
had
smell
it.
like popcorn when it's cooking.
He introduced me to the popcorn rice when I was in Arkansas, and Arkansas kind of taught me about rice because it's a huge,
it's a huge rice production.
producer, and they export, so they take rice pretty seriously, and they also duck hunt in the rice, which is where you come into play.
Yeah, everything kind of comes together right there with it. Coming all around through the deeper parts of the South, from South Carolina on the coastal region and all the way around to Louisiana and to Texas, and then up into Arkansas, with everything. It's great, because especially like if you look at the history of rice going back into Louisiana, where it was started down there, it was something where it helped with the crawfish farming and stuff like that. So they would have crawfish farms and stuff throughout the rice fields and everything when the rice fields were flooded. So
you get the dual purpose farming. That's a good move. I think the first place that I ever really worked in the kitchen where rice was a big deal was in Hawaii. And they were so hardcore, like sticky rice for this, and then you have your spaghetti and then your rice, and it was like rice, spaghetti, spam.
rice, spaghetti,
a lot
spaghetti.
of carbohydrates and starch.
I'm a rice fanatic. I
was gonna say you're like the biggest fan of rice that I know.
I'm a big rice nerd. So I'm really excited that we got rice as our ingredient to cook today. If you want to see more videos like this from the chefs at Blackberry, go ahead and like and subscribe.